The moment my heart stopped beating, everything changed. Instead of the comfort I had expected from my lifelong faith, I felt as though I had been plunged into icy water. The shock coursed through every fiber of my being, and suddenly I was no longer in the ambulance. I found myself floating above my body. Below me, paramedics worked frantically, their faces tense with focus. Their voices sounded muffled, as though I were listening from underwater. One paramedic was performing chest compressions, his brow glistening with sweat, while another prepared the defibrillator. My body lay limp, pale and lifeless, my blue CVS uniform stark against the gurney. The silver necklace Kareem had given me shimmered faintly under the harsh ambulance lights. Strangely, I didn't feel fear. I watched with a sense of detachment, as though observing a scene from a movie. My attention drifted to small details. A coffee stain on the sleeve of the paramedic leaning over me. A crack in the ceiling of the ambulance shaped like a question mark. Time felt irrelevant, and the panic of the scene below me seemed far removed from where I now existed. Then, without warning, everything went dark. It wasn't the kind of darkness you see when you close your eyes, but an oppressive, living void that seemed to press against me from all sides. I felt myself being pulled through it, deeper and deeper, by a force I couldn't see or resist. I didn't know where I was going, but I sensed it was far beyond anything I had ever imagined. Suddenly, I was no longer alone. A presence emerged from the darkness, magnificent and overwhelming. It didn't have a physical form, but I instinctively knew it was an angel. This wasn't the soft, gentle figure of popular imagery, but a being of ancient power, radiating authority and wisdom. Just being near it made my soul tremble with awe and reverence. The angel didn't speak with words, but instead flooded my mind with images and understanding. My entire life played out before me like a tapestry, every action and choice illuminated in intricate detail. I saw the times I had shown kindness, and how those moments had created ripples of hope and comfort in others' lives. I also saw the moments of selfishness, where my actions or words had caused pain. The angel helped me understand the far-reaching consequences of even the smallest choices, how a single unkind word could sour someone's day, while a small act of compassion could uplift them in ways I had never imagined. Then came a revelation that shook me to my core. I was shown how my devout adherence to Islam had influenced others, and not always for the better. I saw people I had encouraged to embrace stricter practices, believing I was guiding them toward righteousness. But the angel revealed how this had often led them further from the truth, entrenching them in rituals and beliefs that obscured the true nature of God. I wanted to protest, to explain that I had only been following what I had been taught, but in the presence of this divine being, all my justifications felt hollow. The truth was undeniable, and it cut through me like a blade. As the angel continued to guide me, the oppressive darkness around us began to shift. I noticed countless other souls moving through it. Some were ascending toward a radiant light in the distance, their forms growing brighter with every moment. Others were descending, their light dimming until they were swallowed by the void. The angel revealed that each soul's destination was not arbitrary, but the natural consequence of their beliefs and actions during their lives. I saw people of all faiths, Muslims, Christians, Hindus, atheists, coming to the same realization. Their sincerity alone had not been enough. The truth had always been available to them, but they had chosen to ignore or reject it. I felt a deep sorrow as I watched their anguish, particularly those who had been devout in their practices yet missed the essence of true faith. The angel then turned my attention to a scene of indescribable light. As we moved closer, the light grew more intense, bathing everything in warmth and love. It wasn't blinding or harsh, but instead felt like the purest embrace I had ever known. Standing at the center of this light was Jesus Christ, not the prophet I had been taught about in my Islamic upbringing, but the Son of God, radiating a love so profound it brought me to my knees. His presence was overwhelming, yet completely comforting. The lies and misconceptions I had believed about him dissolved in an instant. I understood with a clarity that transcended words that he was the way, the truth, and the life. The Trinity, which had once seemed like an incomprehensible concept, now made perfect sense. It was like seeing color for the first time after a lifetime of black and white. Jesus spoke to me, not with words but directly into my soul. He revealed the depths of his love for me and for all humanity, a love that had been there all along, even when I had rejected him. He showed me how his sacrifice on the cross was the ultimate act of grace, offering salvation to anyone who would accept it. The angel then guided me through more revelations. I saw how other religions, including Islam, had distorted and twisted the truth over time. I was shown how political agendas and human ambition had shaped doctrines that led people away from God's true nature. It was a sobering realization, but it wasn't presented to condemn those who followed these paths. Instead, it was a call to understanding and compassion, to help others see the truth I had now encountered. The final revelation was the most difficult. I was shown how my own life could have been different if I had accepted the truth sooner. I saw alternate futures where my children were free from the chains of rigid religious practices, where Kareem and I were leading others toward true freedom in Christ. I also saw the pain my previous beliefs had caused, not just to myself but to those I had influenced. The weight of this realization was almost unbearable. Then Jesus offered me a choice. I could stay in the overwhelming peace and joy of his presence, or I could return to share what I had learned. I saw glimpses of the challenges I would face if I chose to go back. Rejection from my community, struggles within my family, and the pain of being misunderstood. But I also saw the lives that would be transformed through my testimony. I saw people breaking free from the same chains that had bound me, finding hope and salvation in Jesus Christ. With tears streaming down my face, I chose to return. The light enveloped me one final time, filling me with strength and purpose. Jesus' voice echoed in my soul. Go and share what you have seen. Be my witness to the truth. The next thing I knew, I was back in my body. The harsh fluorescent lights of the hospital seemed dim compared to the radiance I had just left. My chest ached from the CPR, and my head spun with the enormity of what I had experienced. Kareem was by my side, his eyes red from crying. Amira and Zayn stood nearby, their faces etched with worry. In the days and weeks that followed, I began to share my story. It wasn't easy. Many people dismissed it as a hallucination or a side effect of oxygen deprivation. My Muslim community was shocked and angered by what I had to say, and I faced rejection from people I had considered lifelong friends. But I couldn't stay silent. The truth I had encountered was too powerful to keep to myself. Slowly, my testimony began to touch lives. People who were searching for answers, who had doubts or questions, started to reach out to me. Some began their own journeys toward the light I had seen. And though the path has been challenging, I know now that every step is worth it. My experience has forever changed how I see the world, faith, and eternity. I live each day with a renewed sense of purpose, determined to share the love and truth of Jesus Christ with everyone I meet.